I'm just talking about PulseChain in general. Like, and it is hard right now. Like onboarding is hard right now. Like you could even ask the question, why would anyone on the outside want to join us? Like they, and I want to lay out this case, like the good and the bad part. So they Google for Hex and they see the old chart. To the layman, doesn't look like, it's coming back up, right? And the new chart that nobody will even bother to find. They get on Twitter and see the emotional outbursts and the drama and all the stuff going on there. It's like, I guess now they get a better idea of which hex to buy now that, Ethereum, or again, you still got plenty of people speculating on Ethereum hex and maybe it'll do well and all that stuff too. But all that came at the expense of the people who've been waiting for years for this thing that just no one ever expected to happen, never expected to go down that far. So it's almost at a certain point, it's like, where do I send them? Where would I send somebody, a new onboard, to get a look at something that I think is amazing? And a lot of other people share the sentiment, but everything pointing to the outside just looks like something you wouldn't want to get into, they would red flags, all that stuff too. They go to PulseX, they go to app.pulsex.com, read for 10 seconds, give up, because there isn't like a nice, gentle interface to show them how to do trades and stuff. They got to figure out what IPFS is and stuff. And I've created Go Real DeFi to try to help with that too. But again, that's not the official website. That's just a community thing that, again, I think it's probably helped a lot of people too. But the main websites have needed to have the community step up, gopulse.com, build stuff to solve a majority of these onboarding things that it just makes everything's just hard to do. And then people talk about, oh, why won't Crypto Banter talk about PulseChain? Why won't he talk about Hex? Like, why? What good news do we have to share with him? What would we give him to talk about? It's besides, you're so early and you just keep waiting and delay, like all these principles that we know and all that stuff, which, and again, we know it's great, but people on the outside, they have nothing to go on except a bunch of bad news articles and people telling them, which they kind of look right at a certain point. People tell them over and over, stay away from Hex, scam, stay away from PulseChain, never touch that thing, all that stuff. I mean, they keep looking, and the EHEX thing happened. They keep looking more right. The haters keep looking more right at this current, time frame. So again, I think Destiny says this changes and we do glory, but that's just as of today. It's kind of like a lot of things are just a mess. It is so hard to just tell people who are in crypto at all. You almost have to get them not to even be in crypto and to never heard of Richard, never heard of PulseChain, to even be interested enough to give it a chance. So I know everyone here supports true DeFi. We want real DeFi. RH just calls us. I'm RH Maxi for his ideals. And I love these products, but man, like, if we see consistent green candles that don't just like go up a lot and then just, that kind of thing. If the founder starts marketing again, starts doing streams or stuff outside of just tweets, which maybe that's all that's, all a game for right now, but, and somehow all of the hex charts and stuff actually point to the latest one and the better looking one, and all the information becomes less confusing. And there's only so much the community can do. At a certain point, the official websites, the official places, the dApps and stuff, they have to be able to give people the information they need to not click away. So we can't do everything. I know there's a lot of people spending a lot of time building these products, and we have founders and just people pouring time and effort and money, their own capital into this thing. It's just hard. But until then, we just got to make it easier, man. We got to make it easier to get people into superior products. And they are just and Richard, as he kind of alluded to in that one funny tweet about the airline bags and stuff. So we need some amazing narrative to unfold with green candles and to really get everyone into chasing the mad gains. The same thing that happened with Hex back then, but now just on a much bigger and sustainable scale. And I think that is unreasonable that it doesn't happen. It's not happening right now. It hasn't happened yet. I think it's unreasonable that it wouldn't happen. And that's what all this pain and frustration is for, right? Like, we got to get that PulseChain big payday, the new big payday, the PulseChain big payday type of thing. I'm taking it back. So what do you think, Crypto.com?
That is the thing. Like, I saw a tweet from Sami, and he was talking about the EHEX chart, and he was like, anyone just objectively looking at this chart would just assume, if they knew nothing else, that it was rugged by insiders and it's probably a scam, and maybe it did like some good gains in the past, but it looks like it's dead now potentially, right? So I think there's and to your point as well, the green candles, we're all usually in crypto, like I want to say 99% of people, besides the ones that say they're in it for the technology that like Richard Hart loves to make fun of, but everyone's here for the mad gains, right?
Man for the tech and the price performance. We can say that. We can say that one.
Yeah, that's fair enough, but um I think, yeah, most people, like, they wouldn't necessarily, you wouldn't buy something if it kept on going down and down and down, unless you obviously knew where it was going and you had a bunch of conviction. But like new onboards right now, I think one of the best things is just green candles. How those will appear, like it's really up to speculation. Like, you could probably think of a million different reasons why, or a million, maybe not a million different reasons why not, but definitely a million different reasons why there would be green candles coming in. And that's the thing, is like, when it seems impossible, when it seems like it'll never happen, when everyone's kind of in the depression, like, this is the whole market cycle, right? Like, I think I sent you a tweet with sort of looked like PulseChain a little bit, where you had like, this is the suckers rally, and then like right after the depression. So, and then people they get sad again. So I think the market cycle, we're about to turn around. We'll see what happens, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, here's the tweet. Um, like Pulse Chain, I think with the amount of layer ones and layer twos, and even I've heard of layer threes now coming out, um, like it's not like 2021 when Pulse Chain was being announced. Like, if you go, if even if you went on Dex Screener in the bear market and you scroll through the amount of layer ones, it wasn't the biggest list in the entire world. Now it's a lot bigger. Like, it's probably at least doubled in the amount of layer ones since the bear market. So there's a lot more, like, I guess, saturation in the market of layer ones. And there's a lot of them that are faster. There's a lot of them that are cheaper. But will they pump as hard as Pulse Chain? And I think that is what's going to bring the people in. How that happens, I'm not exactly sure. But I think this chart sort of describes where we are in the market cycle. It's like disbelief, right? I think we definitely had the depression, right? Like, Pulse Chain was down at like 3 thousandths of a penny or whatever it was at. Like, Hex bottom less than a penny, and then we had our little rally with the rest of the market. And now, like, people think they're in disbelief, exactly like the chart says. So I'm looking at PLS like this as well. Even Hex is now, like, it's gone into deep value. Like, I think one thing that could bring a new onboard in is if you could understand how great of the gains and the principles of Hex, and you're looking at the chart and you see where it is. It's almost like, unless you just really think it's 100% a scam, it should almost be a no-brainer if you have zero allocation to start potentially picking some up, because